Okay, I watched this video called How to Make Your Cheap Drum Set Sound Decent on YouTube, and it was all about some real drummers tuning up a $150 drum set and basically doing basic drum maintenance on a cheap drum set to make it sound good. Now, I'm not a drummer, but I found it incredibly interesting as a layman video on just basic like drum maintenance that probably any drummer would be like yawning. Um, So I think in general there's not enough beginner material, but I wanted to make a similar video for keyboard players, either people that are young and like in high school and are going through that uh, learning and growing process through the school system, or older people that regretted never picking it up and are trying the very hard process of learning as an adult, or whatever the situation is. I just don't think that there's enough beginner material out there. And the reason why I think that is because I think there's not enough beginner material in almost everything is because of this thing, context, right? Context is everything. I don't know where you are. I don't, nobody can tell me what the situation is, what you need to work on, or what you are afraid of. I think a lot of it is setting a context for what the challenges are, and a lot of that's fear. So the video that I watched about the drum tuning was interesting just because it started off with some basic context, like basically $150 you are put into this. This is probably your first drum set. Make it sound good. Here's my, you know, Honda Civic that I bought in 1985 or something, you know. I want to talk about this piano behind my shoulder here. This is the first piano I've really ever owned. I had a piano growing up that was not mine. It's still not mine. That was really my first one. And I know pianos are different than drums or guitars, and a lot of my guitar friends have a ton of guitars. I have a few keyboards, but this is my first acoustic piano that I've ever had. So I wanted to talk about why that is. Well, first of all, pianos are really expensive and they're really big. So it's hard to put them in your house. And that goes beyond just like finding a place for it. Pianos will actually warp a floor. So you have to like put a piano over an I-beam, and then you have to find a place in your house that doesn't have like direct sun on it so that it doesn't like constantly go out of tune. Pianos go out of tune mostly because of heat and humidity, as far as I know. I'm not a expert on that. What also I think is funny about uh, piano as an instrument is that most piano players don't know how to tune a piano, which I think is weird. Like guitar players tune, drummers tune. I mean, even xylophone players sometimes know like what. Of course, xylophones don't got to tune, but they know like the how the bars are made to be in tune. Whereas piano players don't know how to tune at all because pianos are just always in tune, or you're using a keyboard that's always in tune, or you hire a piano tuner. So I think that's kind of weird. So I wanted to bring up tuning because this is what I thought was weird. I just moved. I just moved across the country. I took this piano, which weighs 550 pounds, and I shipped it across the country, and I was expecting to hire a tuner right when I moved it in. I put it up against the wall. It's like not over a deck. It's like directly on the foundation of the house, which is important. It's kind of away from a window, so it doesn't get direct sunlight, which I think is good. So I was like planning all this out, like put it in the plate. I was gonna put it in this spot in the house. That was like a good spot for it. And then I was just gonna like get it tuned, and then it would like stay in tune because it's far away from like heat fluctuations. And I just started playing it. I just played like all the notes one by one, like what's called like a chromatic scale, you know. And there was just one note that was out, and that was the note before it moved. Like when I moved it upstairs in my old house, that note went out then. So pianos are weird. I don't know. Like if you shipped a guitar across the country, it's gonna be out. Like I don't. Probably drums would probably stay in. I don't know. But I just couldn't believe that this thing sat in a truck for like, and it went through like all these different trucks too. It was like a crazy move. So let's talk about like shipping or moving the piano. So, um, like if you get one, if you get an acoustic piano, and you buy it from a store, if you buy it new, which I would not recommend, I bought this used. It cost me about $3,000. It's like a 1971 Yamaha X1. I think it sounds amazing. It's a really tall. It's not a new piano. I don't think you need to buy a new piano, especially if you're starting out. Don't like buy a synthesizer. Don't buy like a weighted keyboard. Don't like get one of those like fancy like sounds exactly like a piano. Just go buy a cheap piano, or like go on Craigslist, find one that you can like pick up for free. There's a lot of them that just say like free pickup. Get some friends. You can buy a good starter piano for like $500, right? And that would be way better than any kind of digital thing. The problem is finding space for it, and they're also really heavy, so you need like a truck and probably a ramp and stuff. But when you do ship a piano, if you do buy one new or even used, they'll deliver it for you. After that, you're gonna spend a little bit of money moving it around. So, like, when I bought this, they deliver it for free, but it was a challenge to get it in. Um, and when I moved it upstairs, that cost me about $300, just because it was three guys and it took them 2 hours. I think it was like $300. So that would be like $300 would be like what it would cost to like move it around town. Then shipping it across the country or something just by itself, which you probably won't do, that just goes into the weight of your movers. So like if you pay for pounds, you probably have like way more stuff than a piano. So the cost for shipping it like as a part of a house move is not that much. So that's not a big deal. The problem is like getting people that know how to move a piano is very challenging. If you get furniture movers, they don't have specific skills and they don't have experience. So it's difficult for them to do certain maneuvers. So I would suggest if you can find it, find like actual piano movers versus furniture movers. Yeah, so let's talk about something else other than moving. So how do you know when your piano's out of tune, right? This is going back to that context thing I'm talking about. I don't know if you've got an ear or if you know when something's out of tune. But I want to play this note that went out during one of the moves, and it's this B, this high B, whatever number it is. So that's all in tune. That sounds fine. But there's this one note, this B, that sounds bad, and this is going to be painful. It sounds out of tune with itself. That's a low B that's in tune. That's higher. But that's out of tune with itself. So that sounds like honky-tonk piano. Like if all the notes were like that, you'd play like a little honky-tonk for a Western. Alright, so this is what it looks like with the part of the panel off. This piano didn't come with a manual, but you can just kind of figure out like how these little pieces come off, and it's going to be specific to whatever piano you have, so I'm not going to go into detail. But so if we get a little closer, you can see when I press a note, it hits those three strings right there, and that one is the one that's out. Okay, well I hope that was a useful video on moving and tuning a piano. I'm going to make another video about keyboards in general. Until then, I'll see you later.